welcome very gently to the
Welcome.
Dragon's Tome.
Gently.
No crashing,
My
no
name is
banging.
Jack. That's Rob. That's Chopper. And what we do here is we go through Dragon Magazine in chronological order. We started at 1, and we're going to go until
we
hit
cry.
Till the wheels fall off this ride, baby.
That's right. This very dark, horrifying ride. So, gentlemen,
Yeah.
here we are, 173.
173.
We have a Dragon Magazine now just chucker blocked full with the latest, greatest, the Dark Sun. What do you think about the cover?
It's
I
Braum.
think it looks just like that cover in the teaser that we didn't know about.
This is I like how they don't just call him Braum, they call him Gerald Braum. They give him his first name. Usually he's just Braum.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, because he's just the big BROM right here in the thing.
Yeah. In the credits they called him Gerald.
Yeah, but this is
Classic.
like we talked about in an episode or two ago when they were showing the modules and not naming them Dark Sun, and then this guy was on one of those module covers.
Yes, he's the Traveler or something. He's like a character from Dark Sun. I've never played Dark Sun. Either of you ever played Dark Sun?
I played it maybe 3 or 4 times with the guy who was supposed to run it. He just never did run it. But I wish he had played more of it. I did thoroughly enjoy how hardcore it is. Death comes easily in this campaign setting.
Yeah, you're in a desert world and you're gladiators, I think.
Or slaves. I'm going to use the forbidden word.
Fortunately, this magazine is so much Dark Sun, we can't help but to touch on all the intricacies. We'll find out so much about Dark Sun, we'll want to puke by the time we're done.
Did we all choose Dark Sun ones? We'll find out.
I don't think there's much anymore. Even the fiction story that usually comes in these Dragon magazines was a Dark Sun story.
There was a lot of Dark Sun. Yeah, even the not Dark Sun section was a lot of Dark Sun.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love Dark Sun. I was able to procure a very decent copy of the campaign first box set. So this is probably, like we said before, this is probably a campaign thing that's not going to make it to the 5e.
Yeah, just because it's a little too graphic.
Well, it's just the setting in itself.
Yeah.
It's not very PC anymore.
Yeah, interesting, but
it's a shame because I think it's a good campaign setting. And you just gotta.
We can discuss that they took orcs out of 5e, so there's no.
You just gotta look past the ridiculousness of it all and just it's role playing. God's sakes, it's not like something that I don't know. Forget it. Let's just move on.
If this was the banger that could have been, then it would have been included. There's going to be Strahd in 5e. There's going to be all the highlights.
Well, Strahd's already out in 5e, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's always going to be a Strahd. There's always going to be the highlights.
Yeah, but there's no slaves in Ravenloft. Is there?
Is there?
Vampires are safe, I guess.
Anywho, why don't we get this thing started? Patrick, why don't you give me your first article?
Okay, let's go to page 21, senor.
51?
21.
We don't speak your language. If you had said
Van Un?
Van Un?
I don't know any Inuit, or else I would have said it.
Hey, look, he actually did a Dark Sun one.
Yeah.
He did
this is a letter from the Wanderer. That's
the Wanderer. Story. That's the guy. That's the guy that's in the picture. Is the Wanderer, not the Traveler. The Wanderer.
This is a article by Troy Denning, who is probably one of my favorite Star Wars authors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He wrote a crap ton of Star Wars. I think a lot of Rogue Squadron books. But it's a story form article a la Dr. Greenwood. Hat tip to our longtime friend, longtime listener.
Unofficial fourth host.
Fourth host. I couldn't remember your exact wording. But this is about the Wanderer supposedly asked by his, I'm going to assume, sister, because the letter's to his niece. He is supposed to tell her that you cannot learn about necromancy. So this is about necromancy in Dark Sun. And he says in the letter, it's kind of funny. He goes, "This is a letter supposed to be to deterring you from that, but I cannot, in good faith, do it. So here are all the high points."
Here's how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is, it's got a lot of things of note that I got about this. Like the undead are different in Dark Sun than in other campaign settings. Like the undead here retain their skills and their classes
They're smarter.
that they were prior to their death. Yeah. And the type of undead you become depends on the kind of compulsion that stops your spirits from moving on. They call it the gray zone, I think, or gray area or something like that. I'd have to go back and try and find the thing, but
The mauve zone.
yeah, goes to the gray. And then it talks about the different categories, the kind of the undead. There, you get these generic skeleton zombies. Then they upgrade the zombies to thinking zombies who can make decisions and things like that. And then the fails, which are like people who are gluttonous and extraneous prior to their death. So they basically invite themselves to people's parties, eat all the food, and then when they can't get any more food or drink from the party, they attack everybody.
Sounds like my last party.
Yeah, and then there's the Rags and the Meorites. Meorites, if I'm saying that. These are like, the Rags are like guardian undead. Excuse me. And the Meorites are like...
Meorties?
Meorties? Meorties. Maybe Meorties, yeah.
Meorties.
They're like kings and things who become
Yarr.
undead. And the article finishes with you on how to create an Athasian.
This is my problem with any other. Right there. That's my problem with any other setting. Stupid names.
You're saying the name?
Yes.
Athos is the name of the place. So Athasian.
And that becomes in the game. That's like the home world or something. So
yeah.
All of them are like Athasian something or others.
Yeah. So I like the article because it gives you a really good taste of what Dark Sun can be. It's at this point in time in AD&D, it's not like any other of the campaign settings. Like Ravenloft was something else also. That's why I think it was so very popular, and I think this is why Dark Sun was so popular. It wasn't like Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, it's not just a setting; it's an actual.
It's not Corinne.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Well, Dragonlance was kind of completely different, but this is completely different.
Yeah, but it's still a fantasy thing. This is a fantasy thing, but it's like dark fantasy.
Different,
like,
yeah. And then they eventually get
like
Planescape.
Like Basky, like Fire and Ice Basky movie. Dark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ravenloft was definitely gothic.
Bashki. I always forget how to say his name.
Well, okay. For a little dive into Dark Sun, what do you have, Rob, to follow that up with?
I have nothing about Dark Sun. I can tell you that right now. Screw that place. We usually go to the editor. You just skipped me and you didn't go to the editor. He's on page 8. This is Roger E. Moore. I called it Roger E. Moore Goes a LARPing.
Oh my god.
I
saw that too.
Just for funsies, him and a bunch of buddies found this LARPing in Dodgeville, Wisconsin, which is just right down the street from them. And they go to this LARP and they loved it. And he describes it and how it was so well run. And like whoever was running this, it sounded really well done. Usually LARPs sound loosey-goosey. This sounded like really well done. And he has a lot of pictures, and he does talk about the elf belly dancers a lot, but he doesn't give a picture, which I was very upset about. But he said, yeah, he has a whole new respect for LARPing. I think before they kind of like poo-pooed LARPing a lot. But
I think this guy on the bottom of page 8, the two guys with the like pickaxe over his shoulder, I think he was an extra in a Knight Rider.
That is Bruce Campbell, if you didn't know.
He's
and then it's Mark Singer, the Beastmaster, right next to him.
Yeah, so I was like, he looked like Mark Singer. But this does not look like 1991. This looks like 1970 something like this.
Yeah, this looks like something my older cousin would be doing.
Yeah, it's funny.
With the hairstyle and everything.
Yeah, forget how retro 91 was.
Yeah, but you're forgetting this is the end of the 80s where the rock hair was turning into more of a grunge hair, and that's
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Like
it's not true.
you could have told that kid to keep flipping burgers with his Kurt Cobain friends.
Yeah, it's fun times for these guys. He really enjoyed it, and yeah, I just thought it was a funny article about him talking about LARPing.
Yeah, it's and I will say, knowing because do you remember? Did you ever you met Kyle, right? My friend from Michigan who owns the game store.
Yes.
He is he started a LARP in Michigan, and it's been going now for 10 plus years.
Wow.
And just listening to him how he gets it together, it is a lot of hard work to make a LARP successful
It,
and have people come. Like his attendance level now is quadruple that it was when it first started. Like over 100 people
wow.
at this event over time. So what's even funnier is he sold it off to someone. They ran it into the ground. He bought it back from them at a cheaper price, and
He
then
made money out of
built
it.
it back up again.
Uh, yeah, I've never LARPed. We've watched like a Society of Creative Acronyms or Anachronism,
Yeah.
but
So to Roger Moore's whatever you want to call it, whatever he says, I forget the damn saying.
credit.
Credit to Roger Moore's credit. Uh, Finding a good LARP is hard.
Yeah,
And
yeah. They
finding
just.
someone dedicated to running it correctly.
It sounds like they got real lucky to have like a really professional, well done LARP that just happened to be down the street from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun times were had by all, it seems. And there was elven belly dancers. And there were barbarians causing trouble. And not enough clerics. Anyways, that was my first article.
Yes, of not enough clerics. I'm going to have to step in, and if we could go to page 38 of the PDF, please.
38.
38. And what we're doing is magic mangling made easy. This is so say your party's getting too powerful and you need to knock it down a bit. This article is about making sure the party's magic users, that you're making sure you can like really do the cheap shots to make them less effective because they get too powerful at high levels. So they said you can have a piece of shrapnel, just tap one, and that's the spell over. You can do all this kind of nonsense. And if that's not enough, you can go to destroying their magic items. So you want to get those rust monsters out there. You want to get those, you want to get the corrosive dragon's blood on there. And yeah, you got to dispel. And if your people are still, too powerful, or they're not bending the knee to you as a DM, you can give them a unreliable narrator. He calls it faking it, and make sure that they don't really know what's going on at any time. So, Gregory W. Detweiler, you must have had a party of powerful people that you had to do every trick in the book, and then to write an article about it. Because I would have to have an armed escort away from the table if I were to pull out half of the shenanigans, tomfoolery, and hijinks.
You would have been stoned to death.
Yes.
With dice.
It would have been dice in my face.
Pitchforks and burning torches.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe it's still like this antagonistic DM versus player thing, even in the 90s.
Well, I think it still goes on now too, because these shorts have been showing up on my YouTube feed where there's a rule breaker, not a rule breaker, but a rules lawyer kind of / engineer, where he's taken all the 5th edition mechanics now and he basically made like a werewolf shotgun using a bag of holding and a portable portal, whatever they call them thing, a portable hole, and it does like 1,000 points of damage and you shoot the werewolf through it. So I still think those people are still around, and unfortunately for us, knock on wood, we don't play with those people.
Well,
I was being a bit glib, and hey, make sure they have to have all their components. Hey, make sure they use it all the time. But you're right. Maybe this man had suffered at the the slings and arrows of players like that, and maybe this comes from a
it's the
place.
same as the power gamers in wargaming. You get those guys that, I mean, I think those are the kinds of people he played with, and unfortunately, that's too bad.
I'm sorry, Greg. I came at you with the being flippant, and perhaps you were the victim.
No matter how powerful somebody is, you just throw a bunch of dragons at them; they're not going to survive. You could. You don't have to go through all this hoops. That's all I'm saying. It's easy to kill
your
people.
Own dragon where they're invulnerable to everything that guy can cast.
Yeah, just have it.
Sorry, you made a save.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It's always been. Yeah, I rolled it. You made a save. No, you didn't. Well, I did. I'm the DM.
A rust monster breathed dragon that knows to target the magic user.
Everybody should always target the magic user. That's rule 101 of a group. You always target the magic user. That's not even a question. Guy in a rope, he's dead.
He's got a 2+ save against a guy named Greg.
Gregory.
Shoot them with arrows. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
shoot that
my
magic
article.
arrow into. Oh, sorry.
A magic arrow.
I was singing a song.
That magic arrow.
Yeah, I heard that, Rob. I'm giving you a little room to breathe.
Oh no, I don't.
The
I don't
stage is yours. You wanna?
I finished it up for him.
Yeah,
like
thanks.
a backup singer.
I set Pat up and he knocks it out.
Oh, I talked right over him. So
I'm the Philip Bailey of his Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh,
you're the Earth, Wind, and Fire beneath my wings.
Okay. Well then, we are back around for our customary second article. What say you?
Let's go to page 32.
32. That's right here. Hey, it's another wizard.
Yeah, this is The Bizarre by our, again,
good friend. Yeah.
honorary fourth host, Dr. Ed Greenwood, longtime listener, longtime friend of the show. This is...
He's going to send a cease and desist at some point. You do realize that.
Well, I hope not, because we had a nice conversation at the Gen Con chicken booth.
I don't know.
Well, you guys are
throwing money,
flashing cash in the middle of a crowded hallway.
Yeah,
like you guys were undefeatable.
Well, we were at Gen Con. I think we were pretty undefeatable.
Can't take Rob anywhere. He's full of antics.
Crazy A was with me. It's not my fault.
Yeah,
maybe he is a bad influence sometimes.
He is
sometimes.
So the bizarre. These are brand new staves.
I think he said stabs.
Staves. Just because it sounds like I'm saying stabs. But Dr. Greenwood, as told to by Elminster.
Is that a picture of Elminster right there?
I think so.
Larry Elmore drew that.
Larry Elmore drew that Elminster. But there's a ton of new staffs. Some are really good. Some I think are OP. Like I wrote down in my notes, like the Staff of Battle. Nice, but quote unquote OP.
Why? Just because it's +3?
It can't be cut by any blade. And the magical speed enables it to strike first in any round. And any missiles that come towards it, including massive missile, are attracted within 10 feet of the staff.
So he just sucks all the weapons into it?
Yeah.
That's fun.
And then if you make an attack roll of 20 or greater, you have to make a dexterity check or be disarmed. It's I think it's cool, but I think
it's got Thunderstrike too.
Yeah, Dr. Greenwood, this one might be a little too much. This is a magic item that Mr. Detweiler might have been put up against.
Yeah. You would have looked over the horizon and it would have been like a cattle.
I have a staff of battle. Oh, hey, I have one too. Oh, me too. Jeez. Oh God, all three staff of battle. Great.
Yeah.
And then what else did I put down? Staff Moonglow. I thought was really cool because it kind of attacks extraplanar creatures and stops them from leaving. So I think it would be really good against a displacer beast of some sort.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah, I mean, but again, not OP then because it's still pretty specific in that some sense. And it does.
That's the kind of thing you know you're going to go against displacer beast, so you just throw it in there and be like, well, I want this staff, and all of a sudden you go, oh, that's why I want this staff. Okay. Remember that staff you grabbed a few weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, and I think it also you can use a charge, and if you hit someone with it, they can be compelled to stay and not move and not phase out.
Yeah,
it's just a +4 weapon on the other side of that. It doesn't attract missiles, doesn't cause
No
people you
stunning.
can be disarmed. Yeah, I mean, so I think it also stops the dimension door, so you
Oh, it's
can
only +4 if it's
attack that
under.
with their.
It's only +4 if you use it under the moon. It's usually just
Oh
a
yeah,
+1.
so
Yeah,
see again, not OP, but
yeah.
still powerful enough
That's
when
a
you need it.
+4 is pretty nice. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it counts as a holy and staff silver
That's
weapon,
cool
but I
too.
think most of magic weapons in second AD are considered silver weapons at this point,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
For lycanthropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually
So,
magic
but those,
weapons can hit those anyways. It doesn't have to be.
yeah. So these are the two staffs that I thought stood out in my mind. There are quite a few staff of vision, staff of surprises, but again, it's a nice list of new magic items, things to use,
It's
play
always
with,
good.
and
Yeah, it's always good to have more stuff.
especially now that you have a new world coming out, you can repopulate with these new different weapons.
No, it's just only for Forgotten Realms since it's
Yes, that's it. That cannot,
Elminster.
will not.
All right, you win.
Okay. Speaking of being a winner, Rob,
Winner
your second article,
52.
52.
Get your priorities straight. Guess what? It's another alignment article by Royce Wicks.
I browsed this article and went, I cannot read another alignment article.
Yeah, this is a hard ask. This one,
Especially this title at the top, as
Like-
objectives, not rules.
yeah. No, that's a big issue. But alignments are, he posits that they're required because it helps with character development. I say just be a better player, and it says you can't play descriptions of alignments. You have to play them as objectives instead of things to you have to like do to like to how would you say the the to like get into the alignment. You have to keep doing
Rob, are
certain
you
things.
tired?
I'm very tired. I can't think very straight. I can't think straight at the best of times. This is worse. But anyways, this is the things you have to do to keep within your alignment. So it's like tent posts or whatever that you have to keep doing. So it's something that like a game within the game that you have to keep like you have to do certain things to stay within certain alignments. And
That's the objective part of this title.
and then the other thing is it makes alignments even harder by having all these like priorities you have to have. Like you have all these, there's like all these different keywords you have to do, and it's really somehow he made alignments more confusing than just regular alignments.
It's true.
He does say in the article that it doesn't, the additional the additional parts of his system aren't an additional burden.
They
but
seem
just
burdening
by
to me.
definition, you've added something that at the beginning of the article he says, it doesn't really work. Alignment doesn't really work. I would have thought the solving of it doesn't work is don't use it, or simplify it to more vagary than it is.
Not make it even more complex.
Yeah, to give certain tent poles that you have to keep doing, or else
Like he says, it doesn't create excess baggage, but I'm like, yes, it does. Like
that's yes, that's what he said. I forgot the
yeah,
actual language he used, but yeah, I think it does.
like you have for this. He says that there's loyalties like self, deity, race, family you have to do. So you have to like acquire handcrafted item of jewelry each month to stay within your alignment. Invoke a deity's name while slaying orcs. Like all this weird stuff you have to do. It's like no, please no. Just be you know kind of what an alignment is. Just stay within that sort of general area.
I don't
please.
think there will ever be a true way to play alignment correctly, unless you were told by the mouth of Gary Gygax himself how do you do it.
Well,
and even then, I would be skeptical.
But it's really just alignments really only matter for paladins. I think that's the only person who really matters, dude. Like you have to be good. That's it. You'd stay within lawful good.
Yeah.
Everybody else, what's it matter what your alignment is?
Maybe even clerics.
Yeah, you have to stay within your gods thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that again, there's no hard or fast rule for that, right? That's again your actions, right?
Yeah, and you can, as long as you can like qualify your actions, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
At its core, it is, hey, you've got a slightly more powerful character than everyone else, but you have to adhere to this. It is a mechanic for, for offsetting some of the great things about being a paladin, or
Yeah.
great things about
and to help people stay within like rules. Like otherwise you'd just be chaos, right? It would just everybody would be like, okay, right now I want to murder this person. Why? Well, just because I want to, you know. It's
Yeah,
trying to like,
exactly.
especially when it first came out, nobody really knew how to role play. It was like, okay, you have to have these set. You stay within this little set. You know, you're good, you're lawful, you're good, you're evil, or you're neutral. Like that was
I mean,
original
I
ones, I
think
think. So
part of the problem too is that this is such an interpretive or subjective
well, like you always
set
say,
of rules that everyone's going to do it the way they want to
yeah,
do it. And, and as we talk about this, I was thinking that, like, anyone who watches this episode, do you put down in the comments, do you play it or how you play it? Are we wrong? Or is he right? Kind of a thing. I'm interested to see outside of my group how other people think.
yeah, like the whole thing with like paladins. Also, paladins kill evil things all the time. Like that is not even a part of their compunction. They could kill evil babies if they want to, because that's
Well,
just the way
true.
the rules
I
work,
mean,
right? But
yeah.
not so
My
much in
God
5e.
says to
They're trying to
smite
change
all
that,
evil.
but yeah,
My God says to smite all evil. If this baby is inherently evil,
yep, it's going to grow up to be evil, so I'm going to smite him. Yeah, like
yeah. If
obviously
it's
that's evil. That's an evil act, but paladins can
is
say
that,
that's a good
is
act,
that
right?
Rosemary? Is that
Yeah.
Rosemary's baby?
Yeah, exactly.
Cha!
That's the thing that I think it's all subjective. It's you could as long as you could talk your way out of why you did it to the GM, you could be like, okay, that's
I mean,
as long as you can explain it as your character.
If that priest in the Exorcist was a paladin, that movie would be 35 minutes long.
Yeah, that's right. Just cut him in half.
I was going to chastise Pat for making a Rosemary's Baby reference for being dated, but we're reading magazines from 1991, so I don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
You do you.
I thought you were going to chastise me because I kachad Rosemary's Baby.
Yes.
It
Not
was
putting
a
rosemary
demon
on a
child.
baby.
It would make it tasty.
A little butter under the skin.
That got us. If we were monetized, that would get us demonetized.
Thankfully, we have sponsors like Honey, and we have our Patreon. We don't need
Honey is our sponsor.
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube. Kiss my
Honey,
hands.
all natural from bees.
I have a friend who's allergic to honey.
The sponsor of the show, who is just giving us free money for just using a coupon.
Yeah,
That is not possible.
Yeah, honey's bad for you. It seems some people.
Oh.
Anyways, Jason Statham also taught me that honey's very flammable.
He's the beekeeper.
Oh, the beekeeper.
That's too modern a reference. Stop.
Yeah. The whiplash.
Okay, what happened? That was from like 2 years ago.
Okay. Since my second article, it is page 26.
26.
Random.
I almost did this, and I thought for sure.
Well, we love random. We
I'm
don't
glad.
love random. That's a Brahm picture. That's a crazy picture.
Yeah.
That is a crazy picture. So we're doing Dark Sun. Magazine's about Dark Sun. So I figured that we'd have to take one. So the article is, hey, sometimes you need to use a random spell for something. In a treasure hoard, you're finding a scroll, for whatever reason. Yes, that's probably been covered before, but apparently in Dark Sun, they tier from rare to uncommon to
Common.
Common,
Uncommon, rare.
rare spells, and some spells are very common because of the setting, and some spells don't even exist because of the setting. So you can't use any randomized from any of the other books.
Because all of a sudden you shoot water or something, and that doesn't really make sense in the Dark Sun world. Or
yes, so whatever it is. Now somehow Bigsby and some of the other big wizards, though Tensor, their spells still made it to Dark Sun. So I don't know exactly how that worked, but
they're interplanar travel wizards, like Elminster.
or maybe they're just got a different name, but they're
Intergalactic Sanitary. Not sanitary, it's planetary.
Sanitary.
Okay, so so yeah, so I'm not going to dwell too long on what Tim Brown and William Connors did. Was they got the spells, they made them so that you could randomize it with just the spells that are available in Dark Sun. And if you were playing the game and you needed something like this, these are the resources that you're going to need to start collecting very soon. Like, well, the Dragon Magazine's always been a synergy thing. It's a commercial for TSR's products, but this is the kind of thing that you're going to be wanting to collect. So here it is.
There's lots of charts, lots of different spells for all different classes.
Yep. I was just going through a bunch of them, just looking at them.
Interesting artwork.
I took a glance at the tables, not taking a closer look.
It just, yeah, like you say, it's interesting what is the ones that are rare. Like, it's like, really? Why is Wizard Mark a rare spell? That's weird. There must be a reason. But
because slaves don't know how to write or read.
Possibly.
Racist.
But anyways, yeah, it's not there's not much in the way of like dissecting or discussion about
the text snares and pits is definitely a rare spell, because that whole world is nothing but snares and pits.
It's one giant snare and pit. It'd just be constantly just going off. You're like, it doesn't stop.
Possibly. Again, never played it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so that is the articles for.
It is, yeah, I just want to say that is interesting. It is a lot of writing ones that aren't there. So writing must be a rare thing in this world. So it's interesting. What was your Pat? What was the next one?
My next one was page 13.
Oh, okay, thanks.
What are we doing here, guys?
This is my second article.
Guys, we already did two.
Well, because it's the debut of Dark Sun, I feel like this needs to be addressed.
Okay,
the
what
monstrous
page did you
side
say?
of Dark Sun, 13.
Page 13. This is the monstrous side of Dark Sun. Since they had, again, limited space, just like they did with the other, what was the one that they had to put out for Forgotten Realms. They didn't have enough space in the box set to put in. They didn't have enough space to put a monstrous compendium in the campaign setting for Dark Sun, so they put out an article on how to create a monstrous compendium for Dark Sun using the existing monstrous compendium until the Dark Sun one does come out, which it does eventually. And it tells which ones you can use from all the different worlds: Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, World of Grey, even Kara-Tor, which I thought was pretty cool. It's a little chart, and then as a teaser, it gives you all the player character / monsters you can play in Dark Sun as the Athazian.
Oh, that's what these are. That's interesting.
Dwarf. You could play a half giant. I'm not going to even say that word anymore. I'm tired of trying.
There's a half dwarf.
Half giant. Yeah, you can play half. Yeah, an elf, and you can tell it's a really different take than any of the other campaign settings. Like the dwarves here are bald.
I like
no beard.
I like the half dwarf. He's got his axe is cool. It's like 2 axes.
You can play half giant. These elves look kind of.
You could play weird. A Thrakreen.
You can play a Thrakreen.
That's cool.
The halflings are feral monsters, or which when we did play this, and I looked at the halfling in the campaign setting, it reminded me of the kid from Mad Max.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's the kid from Mad Max wearing some sensible pumps. Like it's
then the Mool, which is the half dwarf, still pointing out that the dwarves are bald.
Yep.
And you can play the Thrakreen insect. So I thought this was a pretty, as we're talking Dark Sun, I thought it was kind of fairly important to point this out, that if you don't have Dark Sun, you can at least do a little bit of messing around with it with this article.
That's fun.
You can there's people here who just make characters, and you could then like get teased in by going, oh, if I got that, I would play a character that was a halfling.
You're also getting a lot of the setting too of these weird differences. That's interesting. Yeah.
It's
and it gives you the habitat, society, and ecology of all the races that are playable in Dark Sun, so you can kind of figure out where you want to be, how you want to work it out. kind of thing. So there's a lot of information here for new Dark Sun players. And if you want to try and make it a 5e, 5.5e version for your home, here's some basis to it. You just got to move the shifts the numbers around. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder how long, how long this was supported. Did it go into 3 or 3.5? Was there?
Honestly, I don't know because I did not go into 3 or 3.5.
Because that would be closer to 5. Like this is 2 is pretty far away from 5. Like it's totally.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So it'd be harder to do it. But if Dark Zone went into 3.5, then it would be pretty simple to bring it over, I would think.
There's probably
so there is a Dark Sun campaign setting called Dark Sun 3 for 3.5.
There you go. So if you were interested in Dark Sun, that would probably be the one to get.
Yeah.
Unless they actually do, like, I think if they did put it in 5e, it would be so neutered that it wouldn't be fun.
I don't think it would. I don't think there's no way you can make it as dark.
Yeah. It would be a
God's
sanitized
sakes,
version.
There was even a Dark Sun campaign setting for 4e.
Well, we don't speak of 4. Come on.
I know.
Let's go to page 87, because I just want to talk about, 89. I just want to talk about the fact that back in the day, children, you'd have a movie come out, and then you wouldn't be able to watch a movie. You would buy the book. And that's what this is, the Rocketeer book. I thought it was really funny that back in the day, even in 91, you couldn't just, you could rent it, I guess, but if you want to relive the movie, you buy the novelization.
The book, yeah.
Do you think there's novelizations?
Well, 91, there was a lot of blockbusters in 91. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was we were renting movies before then, but I guess it was still novelizations were still a thing in 91. Do you think novelizations are around today? That was the only reason I want to bring this up. I was curious.
I think yes, only because the script has been flipped. The movies nowadays are based on existing novels, because no one has an original idea anymore.
So the novelization is like, I read the novelization of the TV movies Dune.
Yeah.
I watched some novelization of Dune.
But yeah,
that's if you read probably the last 10 years, there are more movies about
based on books,
existing books, than there are original scripts. Unless you're talking Jason Statham movies, and they're just kind of rehashed, renamed the same movie over and over. And don't get me wrong, I love those fucking movies.
But I think Harry Potter and Hunger Games really blew that up, and Twilight, all those things,
and Tolkien and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, of course, Lord of the Rings on the good side. But I'm saying generally for all those crappy movies, or those Divergence and all those kind of movies, they're all based on books. But they're all like those. What do they call those books? The preteen or whatever, tween. Books?
Oh yeah, the Twilight one really took it.
Young adult.
Let's even. I mean, Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice. Those movies.
Yeah, that was.
But speaking of Jason Statham movies all being the same, can we agree that the Jurassic Park series has now become the Fast and the Furious? They just release another one.
It's a slightly different dinosaur.
Because I just saw
always has T-Rex in it. It saves the day.
I don't know. We're recording this a week in advance, so they dropped a trailer, and I like, oh, what's this? And I'm like, is that? No,
is this the movie I've already seen?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, that's not Jessica Chastain. Like, what's going on here? And I was like, oh,
it's just the same movie, just slightly.
I don't think it was
changed.
Jessica Chastain in that movie. I think it was Ron Howard's daughter, that Bryce Howard.
Oh, it was.
They all look the same.
Yeah, well, those two. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup if you told me to.
I would happily try. Well,
don't get me wrong.
Try.
Well, I'm trying not to fat shame Bryce, but she's gotten a little bit bigger than Jessica Chastain.
God.
She's still a good looking woman. She's still a good looking filly.
How do we end up here? We're talking about Rocketeer, the nice, happy Rocketeer. Although the comic book, Rocketeer is based on a comic book, which is the best part. And the comic book is very salacious. It's actually pretty sexy. But the movie was very PG. So,
who was the lead woman in the Rocketeer? Because I remember
Jennifer Connelly.
Connelly, yeah, I remember at the time being a young boy going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly is beautiful
Jennifer Connelly
today. She's
was on the stock list for a long time.
Anyways, that was my last article. Pat, do you have any more?
Rob was on his high horse about talking about, and then I mentioned Jennifer Connelly, and I get this out of the corner of my eye. I get this. Yeah.
No, that's it. I just wanted
Jack,
to...
look at that. We stuck to 2 articles each. Look at that.
Okay. Well, all that lying aside, I suppose that what we do now is we do one ad each to kind of see what's going on in the magazine.
Jack, I'm
and,
on your side. I only have one ad, so.
Well, then you know what? I think because Pat, the guilt on his face. You know
Well,
what?
I'm not
When you
gonna lie.
come
It's
home
only two. It's
and
only
your
two.
dog's looking at you, and you know somewhere
He's
there's
crap.
there's
He's
crap
pooped
somewhere.
yeah.
That's me. That's me.
So
Pat pooped in your dining room.
in my show when I'm the. So that brings me to, should I do mine first?
Yes, do yours first because we don't want to
Do
steal
yours
yours. I know mine isn't yours, so I'm good.
Oh, okay.
If it is, it'd
Everyone
be
needs
very
to
odd.
decide that
Challenge
vote.
accepted.
Yeah, it'd be very odd if Jack picked this one. I'd be like, why?
1, 2, 3.
There's a page
Contact.
123 in this thing? How many pages are in this thing?
A whole bunch of cards. Now we
720.
just covered. What's that?
720 cards. Yeah.
New cards. This is the second wave of cards that we've already discussed.
Oh yeah,
These are the ones I remember for sure.
Second edition. These are Forgotten Realms ones.
Yeah, these I remember these ones for sure. These are the ones I had.
And Rob, I was just going to say, I didn't recognize any of those first ones. I didn't think I had any. And then I saw the artwork in this.
And with the
hat,
symbol in the
I,
side, and yeah, for sure I had some.
And I went, oh, that thing in the middle? I think I had that. Whatever rod that is, or whatever secret door finding rod, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I had that. So what we have here is the new wave of collector cards for TSR's role-playing projects. There's you can buy the whole batch in one go, or you can buy them in little foil blind packs where you could open them up and
And then, like we talked about this last time, Jack, and we're talking about the availability secret one. Now this is where I think it starts to get random because it does say in here, the secret quantity of limited edition cards available this time.
So
in the packs, yeah.
When we were discussing this, it was in our time weeks ago. For them, it was months ago. But definitely, they must have had enough juice to. They had the juice to kill the goose and get this thing moving, because this is the second batch of them. And
I think they found the way of magic at this point.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do it, you might
Magic,
as well.
I think this might have been slightly before Magic. I think Magic's still not quite out.
You might as
just
well
coming out.
make the gamblers itch. Where you're buying a couple blind packs and
I wonder if this
maybe a couple
inspired
more.
Magic to be like, yeah, let's do them blind packs.
Well, let me look.
Magic was
I don't
91, I
know.
believe. I think so.
I remember when we were discussing it before, I said, this predates the Pokemon. And Rob was
Pokemon
like,
was 80. Japan, it was definitely in the 80s.
Contraire Fair, he said to me.
1993 is when Magic was released.
Yeah, see, so it's still 2 years to Magic. So this might have inspired Magic. The whole idea of blind
might be
blind
true. Yeah.
decks. This might have inspired it. And they're like, we can make a game out of this.
Let's just ask Wizards of the Coast.
Was it
because
Richard Garfield?
They'll
Richard
tell
Garfield?
us the truth.
I think he's the one who did it. No, not Wizards of the Coast. He left Wizards of the Coast. He owns Gen Con now. The guy who invented Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He owns
Good guy.
Gen
Supposedly.
Con?
Yeah, he's supposedly a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
Like he got out. He sold Wizards of the Coast to Hasbro and was like, I don't know if he sold. I think he might have got out even before that, but he made a lot of money off of it. And yeah, he bought Gen Con because Gen Con at the time was floundering, and he's like, I want to bring this back to what it was, and he brought it back to what it was. It's amazing now.
Well, the next
I
time
know,
the two of you go,
I know he's friends with Mike Carr, the guy who wrote Dawn Patrol or Fight in the Sky.
Oh yeah.
Because I see Mike every once in a while when I'm up in Lake Geneva, and because he's one of the original guys at the first Gen Con, ran one of the first games of Gen Con, Dawn Patrol at the time. He gets a free suite and free admission to Gen Con until RIP.
Yeah, that's cool. He supposedly he's a really good guy. So
and he runs Mike runs a Dawn Patrol
he's
event
still
there too.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. He's a good guy.
That's pretty cool.
well, next time you guys go, Pat, while you're trying to introduce Rob to
Famous
the
people?
guy who runs it, and Rob's in the background making it rain with
with the money
other
that
people's
with
money.
Mantic's money. Unfortunately, we wouldn't have
Yeah, we don't
Mantic's
Mantic money anymore. That's why I'm not going.
money
Wow.
to toss, making it rain.
You can maybe just rein them in, or get a selfie.
Yeah,
I've met so many famous people I don't remember.
That's true.
yeah, we're kind of stupid that way. We just don't know. Well, I know sometimes,
Pat
but at
knows.
least I remember.
Pat knows everyone. Don't let him fool you with that cherubic look. He knows everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was my ad. A surprise second batch of cards flooding the market. So Rob, why don't we do you, because we know young Patrick has multiples.
8,000.
It's very tiny though, so it's not going to be very long.
We're gonna go to page
We're
91.
talking about ads, Pat.
Oh, 91.
Oh.
It's
91.
That's below the belt.
Ravenloft books. I only mention it because I actually had the Vampire the Mist book. It was very
I had
good.
them both. I liked them both.
Yeah.
Night of the Black Rose was great.
Very good
What
books.
was that guy's name? His name was Soth, Lord Soth, right?
Yeah. And fun times. And I enjoyed them thoroughly because Ravenloft is I've never played Ravenloft, but I enjoyed the fiction. So.
Oh, I loved Ravenloft. The guy who ran D&D for us did a great job with intermixing it with his homebrew campaign. Like, we never knew when we were going to end up in Ravenloft.
Oh, that's cool. You just go through the mists and all of a sudden you're there.
Yeah, or we fall asleep and a fog comes through, and then we wake up and we're in Ravenloft.
That was the beauty of Ravenloft. You could just bring your people into it, and it was like a whole new setting.
Yeah.
You have to figure out different
And I know I've
rules.
said this 1,000 times, but the funniest part we had is because there are no dwarves in Ravenloft, so our dwarf cleric would always be confused as someone's kid. Oh, your kid's got a very long beard.
But fun times, Ravenloft. That was all I just wanted to mention. Fun times in Ravenloft. So there you go.
Okay.
And this is also when TSR was still doing good books, not before they flooded
Yes.
the market with terrible books. So
That's true.
Mm,
you think there was terrible books at this time too? They did do Buck Rogers books, so
I remember there was a batch of like
random shit.
20 or 30 books there we covered where it was
I read a lot of Forgotten Realms books at this point.
Yeah, but there was some weird ones that were not part of any setting. They were just like TSR books, and they were just weird
I didn't read any
fiction.
of those. And
Yeah.
and the Dragonlance books started to come fast and furious, and I didn't read a lot of those either. I think there's an ad in here with those books too.
Dragonlance.
I just saw it.
Book became TSR at this time was kind of cresting, and books became a big thing for them. And as we'll see, it became a bad thing for them eventually. So, books.
well, Pat, what is your ad?
All right, so the first one is going to be page 4.
4. We talked about this one already, didn't we?
I know we've talked about it, and we've seen this ad a million times now for weeks. But because this thing has showed up in the same spot in every magazine now for a while, it's got me wondering if I can find the
Fantasy
rule booklet
Wars?
just to see how to play it. It's now subconsciously weaved itself into my brain, and I'm thinking
The ad worked.
I'm wondering what the rules are like. I mean, I'm not looking to buy the miniatures because I have a crap ton of miniatures that I can use for this game. But now I'm gonna have to do a deep internet dive to see if I can find this rule booklet.
I do love on the second page, on page 5, that the giant with the goblins on top, or trolls,
Yeah.
whatever they are. That's awesome.
No, I wonder how much smaller this is compared to the Mantic Giant that I could just put.
He looks big.
A plank
But
across his
those
back.
are goblins on top, so those are little
Yeah.
guys, but still, it's pretty awesome. Hey, Grenadier
I
had
mean,
some
I
nice
think
miniatures.
I do think that the Games Workshop Giant was the biggest at its time until Mantic made their Giant.
Yeah, Mantic Giant was pretty cool. And
I think a superior looking
it's all
model as well.
aesthetic, but it is nice.
But you are right, Pat. This has been an ad that's been going on since the dawn of time at this point. A full color 2-page ad. The money that Grenadier must have been.
I thought Grenadier was
Yeah.
GW. Is that no Citadel?
No,
is GW.
Citadel is
Yeah,
GW.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Grenadier was separate.
is no more.
Grenadier was
No.
the yellow box guys, and Grenadier is no more.
So they
So,
just had this is a very competitor to Fantasy Battles for sure.
Yeah, so it's now since wormed its way into my brain, and I am intrigued as to how it was played because I never played it. I never read the rules.
These miniatures look way better than GW miniatures at the time too.
Yeah, the Vegeta moves are like,
Yeah,
I'm an
terrible.
orc.
Yeah, like single pose, terrible ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
that only later they became cool. These all look very nice. I'm
yeah.
sure they're
So
metal miniatures.
no, it says plastic, right?
Oh
There's
wow,
102 plastic figures.
nice. That's pretty nice then.
Yeah. So I'm now slightly curious.
I like the guy on the
Uh,
eagle, the flying on the eagle. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and that I actually have that model.
Oh yeah,
It's a metal version of it. I used it in my Forces of Nature army as Phoenix Riders.
that goblin Nick Lund's Goblin War Giant is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So I do. I mean, you can still buy some of these Grenadiers figures in blister packs on eBay.
I wonder who bought up Grenadier, just like Raul Partha got bought up by Ironwind. I wonder who
Yeah.
owns
You never
Grenadier's
know. Well,
catalog.
that's some internet sleuthing. If you know and you're a good
Yeah,
internet
please
sleuth
comment.
there out
Yeah.
there in the YouTube labs, leave a comment. Let us know.
Grenadier was a British company too, wasn't it?
No,
Originally?
I think it was American. It was out of
was
Pittsburgh
it?
or Pennsylvania, I think.
No, I thought it was originally British.
No, it was American because Grenadier is my first set of miniatures. It was when I started getting into miniatures at the time.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
Well, you can't argue if they released Grenadier. They've got the Flyers and they've got Gritty, the best mascot in all of sports. You know, Pittsburgh's.
Pittsburgh, I see.
oh.
I was confused.
All right. So let's hit.
No, it's not Pittsburgh, it's Philadelphia. Gritty's Philadelphia.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's a freaking penguin or something stupid.
No, yeah,
Pennsylvania.
they're the Flyers. Who knows? All right, let's go to page 20.
Vente. Now that means
It's
big.
the dawn of a new world, Dark Sun. I only
Hey,
bring
what
this up because this, and I
We didn't talk
realize
about
Troy
Dark Sun
Denning-
enough.
No, because all right, there's a methods to my madness. Here.
Oh, it's a book.
It's a book. It's called The Verdant Passage, and I didn't realize this was a Troy Denning book. I've read this book. I didn't realize Troy wrote this book, and it's probably why I liked it so much. And this is one of the reasons I really like Dark Sun is the fiction was pretty good.
That's
in
the beauty
the-
of
in the novels,
I think all
and
the
so-
TSR fiction for the settings was always good. It really got you into the setting. Like it really.
Yeah, so
you
after
feel
seeing this when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can go to like secondhand books or something and see if I can find a copy that's laying around.
I'm sure you could get the ebook easy enough. Anyways.
Yeah, but I'd like to have the little paperback. I don't think this ever came out in a hardback, but
No.
I wouldn't mind having the paperback just add to my
This is the kind of thing you got to go
Gord
to
the
like.
Road.
Yeah, Gord the Rogue. Yeah, I had those.
Yeah, I'd like add to my Shadowrun books that are still in paperback.
But yeah, you have to go to like a secondhand bookstore or a thrift store.
Yeah, there's
You probably
literally
find them.
there's a bookstore in the area called Secondhand Books. It's like
Yeah.
a chain in the States.
But the name Troy Denning to me means absolutely nothing.
Other than
to
it's
you,
Kat,
it seems
Kat
to-
Denning's dad.
Ooh, Kat Denning.
Probably because you didn't read a lot of Star Wars books, Jack. Troy Denning was, and I think Troy wrote some BattleTech books too, didn't he?
No, not that I know of, but
You don't think so?
Okay, that was my question. What frame of reference you have? That,
But he wrote a lot of Star Wars books.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Stackpole wrote a lot of Star Wars books too, so that may be why you think of BattleTech.
I'm looking at his list. Yeah, he wrote a ton. He wrote some Halo books.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Okay. Well,
R.I.P.
then
Troy
that's-
Denning, right? Right, Jack? Is that what we're supposed to
Oh yeah.
Yes.
R.I.P. Troy Denning.
Yeah.
But
say?
I know he's
If
not
you are
dead
still
because
alive, please.
I think
prove
I know.
it.
I think he's not dead because I think he was at a Gen Con one year.
Oh, I'm sure. We're in
that was the
91.
time-
It's a lot less likely they're dead. When we were in 76, it was a lot more likely.
Yeah.
You met him at Gen Con, and Rob and Crazy A were flossing in the background and making.
No, it's
Oh, you know what? Troy Denning also created Chill Black Morn Manor, the board game for Chill
chill.
for
I remember
Mayfair
that game.
Games.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Oh,
Jack, it's worse. That was one time that I didn't meet Ed Greenwood, but usually I meet these people and talk to them and like probably shake their hand and still forget and don't know who they are. So
Shit, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Car
Doug-
Wars, the guy who did Car Wars.
Steve Jackson. I
Yeah.
met Steve
You
Jackson.
talked
Steve
to
Jackson.
him.
I actually talked to Steve Jackson. Didn't
Now,
know it was him.
I didn't
And
know.
now, if we had a lineup of people, if we lined up a bunch of
He's an old guy.
mid-60s
yeah, he looked like
to
a
early
old guy.
70s guys, could you, out of a lineup, go, oh, that's
I couldn't do that with like people I know, let alone some guy I met once.
Yeah, I didn't know Duck worked with Troy on the second edition of Chill.
There you go. Chill is a favorite. I think I have second edition Chill. If
I think
maybe I'll get it signed.
Yeah.
Should.
One of
It's
these
a
days we go-
terrible.
we-
It's terrible quality.
We'll go see. The next time we're up in Wisconsin, we can swing by and talk to Duck.
No longer at the Dungeon Hobby Shop though.
It's still there, but it hasn't been sold yet. So
Yeah.
Ugh.
Terrible. Anyways,
Ugh.
uh,
On
That's another
that
story.
bombshell.
That's another story.
do you have
On that
any more?
bombshell. You know what? Let's skip where we each pick a comic from Dragon Mirth and discuss it, and we just wrap this up.
Oh, come on!
I think
man.
Dragon
read
Mirth
that-
this time
I read
wasn't
all
Dragon-
Mirth.
Dragon Mirth was.
I know.
Was it a lot of like? Is this the one that had a lot of people in like bondage? There's one of them that
It's
was
a
like
fan favorite, our Dragon Mirth, when we call it mucking with the mirth, but we've gone long enough. So
I would like to point out, too, that if you haven't read this Dragon magazine, and Dark Sun Central, I'd like to bring more light to Dark Sun, because I did love Dark Sun. There is a fiction in the magazine of Dark Sun. I didn't read it, and
because
it takes quite a bit of pages. But if you want to read a little bit of free fiction for Dark Sun, it's in this Dragon magazine.
There you go.
And do we still give links to where we found these?
I think it's still active. We get them from
think
the
it's a-
archive.org, but
Yeah, but we
archive.org
probably
got knocked
shouldn't
down.
mention the links anymore, because
Why?
that's a good way to get it shut down.
No,
That is true.
it's a totally legal way to do it. So
Elon Musk is tearing the servers out of the walls as we speak.
But anyways, it's all on the internet. You just have to search Dragon Magazine. You could find them. They're all
it's not hard to
archived.
find. Let's be honest. If you have Google, you can find the Dragon magazine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming along with us. We enjoy doing this, and
The internet
hopefully you
archive
enjoy
is still
this
up,
while
by the way.
Rob doesn't enjoy doing this.
I don't.
So while you were doing your chores or painting your minis, hope we kept you company. And Rob tells me to do this.
Because he points at me. I don't know why he does it.
Comment.
And yeah, thank you. We'll be back next week with the next edition of Dragon Magazine. This has been the Dragon's Tome, and enjoy the blooper at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Now I got to put it in. He's being mean.
Woot, 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 woot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hate that. Okay, Clacker's coming
Because
up.
as history will show, it was Rob's fault. It won't be mine for making it last any longer, drawing it out at all. I'm the one who want to get this done and over with. No pomp, no
I'm
circumstance.
so tired.
Let the record show.
I just want to get food and have a shower.
Wait, food? You just ate McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I ate McDonald's at 5. That was 5 hours ago. 5:30.
Oh,
That was dinner. That was in between shifts.
Did you just get off work or something?
Yes.
you worked a double.
I worked.
Oh, I did not hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I
You
had to
wondering
read
why I'm like
between the lines.
almost dead?
I thought you were out on a date. I was telling Sarah, yeah, we're not recording that because Rob is getting lucky.
If
right
that's my kind of date, I'm in fucked. That was the worst date I've ever been on.
now. Well, you didn't. I mean, you didn't have to say anything, but I just assumed because I didn't take you for a double shifter.
I try not to be, but I need money. So
You don't have to tell me. You know I work those fucking 18-hour
yeah,
shifts.
but you get paid for it. I don't. I get like scraps off the table, garbage,
Yeah.
and a free McDonald's meal that made me feel ill. Okay,
You
we
did.
ready?
Okay.
My teeth,
Let the record show that it was Rob now.
my
just
teeth look
talking.
brown in this light.
You're just punishing me now.
Okay.
Ready? What are you doing? What are you doing, Cenobite? I'm clacking. I don't care what you're doing. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. New record. Okay. The booth is.
Let's try that again. Let's try that again. No, that wasn't. I didn't hit the mic. I dropped this thing.
That makes all the world difference. Well,
It was a much louder noise. Okay, let's try this again.
Save this bit for the end.
Okay. Here we go.